The country is spending 3.4 billion rand annually on VIP protection for politicians, and that's according to OUTA. And this is much higher than the 2.25 billion rand allocated to the Hawks to investigate serious crimes. So let's unpack the implications of this with OUTA spokesperson Wayne Duvenage. Wayne, thank you so much for your time this morning. Good morning to you. 3 billion rand is no peanuts. It's no smarties. That's a huge budget allocated to just the VIP protection unit. But one wonders, if one is necessary to spend that much, but also two, is there allocation to training in terms of conduct? And I'm obviously referring here to that viral video that definitely showed that the conduct of those members was uncalled for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one wonders to what extent has the training and bringing people who fulfill these roles up to speed with what their obligations are to society, how to behave themselves in difficult situations like that, where they are possibly enticed. You cannot have this low EQ and emotional outbursts and these attitudes by the police or by the protection units that are allocated to the so-called VIPs. So it is to us, it's a training issue. There's a symptom of there's a bigger issue here that is arising. But more than that, we've got to start asking ourselves, what are we spending this money on? Because we do get the sense that there are far too many of these VIP protection units, not only those formal ones at the cabinet levels, but it goes right down to municipal level, where we see mayors and people driving around with these these vehicles that are supposed to be escorting them from place to place. And then in this specific incident, the deputy president wasn't even in the vehicle. So what gives them the right to put those blue lights on and behave as if everybody must move out of their way? Because there's no VIP in the vehicle. They are not the VIPs. There needs to be some very clear rules and laws around this.
Yeah, because when they jumped into the car and hurried off, one wondered where exactly they were going to and who they had in that car, because the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, said he was not in those vehicles when that incident happened. But equally so, Wayne, a number here that is quite important to also take note of, which you do as well as OUTA, just under 3.4 billion. Now, that is the worth of the VIP protection just in terms of the last 2023-2024 financial year, what taxpayers had been financing, this in comparison to a budget of only 2.25 billion to investigate serious crime in the country. The question is here, why does it seem that in at least the last two financial years, the budget for VIP protection units seems to outweigh that of crime prevention in the country?
Yeah. So look, the total police budget's obviously around 102 billion, but you're quite right on the VIP or on the special crimes unit of the Hawks. Something's wrong when the VIP protection units get more money than the Hawks, for instance. What we do need is that the Hawks do very important work uncovering and dealing with high priority crimes, and this needs to be beefed up. So I think an audit needs to be done and a very stringent scrutiny of what is that 3.2 billion rand being spent on for VIP protection. Why are we spending so much in comparison to what we spend on the Hawks? Let's start unpacking this, because the public are losing trust rapidly when they see incidents like this, and we see them all the time on the freeways. We see this bullying conduct of people being pushed to the side off the roads by these VIP protection cavalcades, and we often now start questioning, well, who's in these vehicles? And here we see the Deputy President wasn't even there. So the biggest worry we've got here is that these four people that have been implicated now have been suspended. Now, if you or I did this, if we were caught on camera beating up people on the freeway like that, stopping all the traffic, we would be in jail. We would be locked up. We'd be applying for bail. So why do they get this special treatment? There shouldn't be a suspension. Of course, they should be suspended, but that's the least of the action that should be taken against them. They should be sitting in jail right now while we deal with the criminal conduct of their behavior.
I think also the worrying clarity that we also received, Wayne, is that there was a notice of intention of suspension. They're not necessarily suspended as yet. There's a notice of intention of suspension. Moreover, that they have an opportunity to provide representations as to why they should not be suspended. So forget criminal charges being laid at this point, or them being expelled, or them sitting in jail. They even have an opportunity to at least clarify why they should not be suspended. My worrying concern, even to IPID, was, does the country, or can the country even trust that during these investigations, these members of the VIP protection unit would not be handled with kid gloves because of obviously their proximity to the deputy president, and obviously because they work as a protection unit to the deputy president. So therefore there might be a lack of trust that they might receive, you know, a consequence that fits the crime. As you and I, as you've rightfully said, definitely there would be no question about it.
They should not be treated any differently to anybody else, including you or I, if we behaved in that way. If we are caught on camera, there's sufficient evidence of what happened, you get arrested for conduct like that. You get arrested. Somebody's life was in danger there. When you start kicking people in the head or in the body or wherever, that is intent to do grievous bodily harm, let alone all the other charges. So this notion of, well, we're going to suspend them, and that can be handled through the employment process with the police and the department. That's an employment matter, suspended for bad behavior. There's a criminal conduct. So another department or the police should go to those residences and arrest them for that conduct. And they must apply for bail, as you and I would have to do, and go and prove ourselves our innocence in court as to what the mitigating circumstances are, while the labor matter takes place with suspension. This is not about suspension. This is about arrest, and that's not taking place. So this just widens the trust deficit between government and citizens. I promise you, if you look at the Edelman Trust Barometer, trust in government in South Africa is the lowest out of all the countries that are measured on that barometer, the lowest. And this just makes that matter worse. And governments, you know, they've got to start fixing that by showing us and taking decisive action. And the police should be doing their work here. And IPID should be making sure that these individuals are arrested while their suspensions play out.
Well, of course, we're hoping that we'll get some updates in terms of where those investigations are, but when we'll leave it there, OUTA speaking to us, Executive Director there, that's Wayne Duvenage, just at the back of not only the video that went viral that we all witnessed, causing outrage in the country regarding, you know, how the VIP protection unit for Deputy President Paul Mashatile behaved, but also just looking at the budget allocation that goes towards VIP protection in this country. This in comparison to the Hawks, it seems in the past 2 financial years only receiving 2.25 billion to investigate serious crime compared to the 3 or just under 3.4 billion worth of VIP protection budget.